Hey everyone, it's Saturday, loving the weekend. I haven't had this guy on here for, I don't think, for a change yet. I know I've showed him a couple times, but I'm going to put him into this like real cute 70s theme bodysuit that I got. I went a little nuts with this stripe thing, so I got the pair of like 70s style basketball shorts with the same stripes and like a 3/4 sleeve baseball tee, probably for Amity in the 3 to 6 month size. I kind of just wanted to rip that. So I thought that these colors would be really nice with him. And I brought two different booty options. Neither of the colors are great. These are cute, but they're massive. But they'll come up higher on him. And then these are a little lighter than the color, and they're going to be just like booties. So maybe we'll end up with neither. I'm not really sure. But these are cute. We'll see when they're not just like right on the bodysuit. I think people are starting to get to know him a little bit now, but this is Gabriel. His sculpt is called the Maui sculpt. He is also sculpted by Jorja Pigott, who made the two silicone girls that were in my video yesterday. And his artist was one of the ones that was new to me. I found him, and that's how I found her. And there was a picture of him that was close up and showed the details on his face. See if I zoom how good that does for you to see. I'm not really sure if you can see him, but it's like almost like a scab or I don't know, he's just this really beautiful detailing in his face in terms of like newborn imperfections or injuries, and then the veining, and just everything about him is so good. And I happened to catch one or two photos that just like let me see that. Oh, and his artist is Amy at Dazzling Reborns by Amy. You can see he's a real curly newborn too. This foot here, the toes are curled in. So I think his legs stay up a little bit. The body on him's a little long, I think. He's just a longer torso baby, but he's so beautiful. So beautiful. I think I can probably keep the white onesie underneath. What do we think? We might as well, right? It looks smaller than the one I'm about to put on top of him, so I think we'll be good. Do I have anything to talk about? Well, we said we were going to talk about selling, like how do I sell? I guess I can do that a little bit. I'm not going to put any kind of like videos in here, but I can demonstrate with him a little bit, I think. Pricing is one of the first things, but I think the platform you're going to sell on is the number one best thing. So if you have a good following on Instagram, for example, I always start there. Sorry, that's kind of unnatural. I always start on Instagram. I don't always get doll sales on there because it's the same audience, right? And if everybody's buying or everybody's selling or nobody there wants that particular doll, I will then, this is a size newborn and it's swimming on him. I will then expand out to Reborns.com, where I showed you the other day that I bought Tegan. And I usually will start close, depending on how long I've had the doll, I'll usually start pretty close to what I paid for the doll. Generally you're taking a loss right out of the gate with whatever you paid for shipping. I try, when it's a newer doll, I try to send everything that came to me with the doll. There have been occasions where there might be, if it's not a prototype, right, there might be an outfit that I want to keep, and I will replace it with one or two other outfits. But for the most part, I'll even go back to my original box opening and like confirm that I've got everything that the artist provided. Unless they sent chocolate, that's long gone, right? That's gone within like 2 days. So I'll just say that. But I am usually willing to discount depending, there are certain dolls that it was like, take it or leave it. This is what I'm selling it for. But if it depends on how much you need the sale, whether you need it because you've overspent or you need it because you're trying to get a different doll, whatever it is, you have some kind of a personal thing going on, whatever it is. So that's those shoes. Kind of interesting, right? We have different options here. You can fold them. They're just kind of an odd shape. I don't know. I don't think I like them. I don't think they match well enough. But the biggest thing is attracting your buyers and making your doll shine. So when I list on Instagram, I put it in my stories, and then I'll go back usually and add hashtag Reborn for sale, all one word, in some of the postings, and then I'll put that hashtag on my story. And then sometimes, not very frequently, but sometimes I will actually make a sale post on my page, my wall, whatever. I don't really like these either. Let me come over here. Gosh, he's handsome. He's showing up really well. I'm going to take them off altogether, I think. So making sure that it's, you're hashtagging it so that people, when they search, will find it, especially with posts. I'm not really sure how stories show up when you search a hashtag, if stories show up or not. I do know that posts will. And I sometimes go in and will search that tag just to see what's out there, even if I'm not in the market, which is how I've ended up with some dolls that weren't planned, because I'm like, I found this doll. Anyway, I would recommend, if you really need to sell, if you have a private profile and like 200 followers, you're probably not going to get a lot of an audience, a big audience, right? A lot of traffic, because people, you don't have that many people seeing it, and then with the algorithms, unless they're searching it, only a fraction of the people who follow you are even going to see it in their feed. So, exposure is something to consider. And if you have it out there, just continuing to share it to the same audience over and over and over and over again is probably not going to magically yield a result unless, you drop the price down so much, sorry about moving around, that all of a sudden somebody's compelled that's been on the fence. But, you're banking on somebody having even been on the fence. Things I would avoid doing on that platform is kind of like pressuring people to buy it or trying to guilt people into buy it, saying things like, need her gone, just bring, from my perspective, and I'm just one perspective, but that means that the perspectives out there, just brings a negative vibe to it. So you got to mix it up if you're going to continue to list on that profile. Also, if you have friends maybe that have a large, they've been there for a long time and have a lot of followers. You can ask people to share it. But again, in terms of kind of like, it's best to do that with people that you know, I think, than just randomly reaching out to people you don't know. It's, rare that they will, somebody will do it that doesn't know you. But if they see you're posting, a lot of people do share it. So that's one thing. If your profile is public or you have a good following, I always start with Instagram. I do, personally. But I wouldn't sell to a stranger through Instagram because it's a little bit too risky. The second place I go is reborns.com. It costs $20 for a 1-month membership. They do not take a percentage of your sale. You be aware as you go through, you can select your payment method, and I think it defaults to allow for PayPal credit, or PayPal, I think you can turn that off to where you'll invoice the person and then you follow up for a payment. But I like that because I can set it up. It's PayPal. It goes as an invoice, and also I can see my buyer, how many people, how many purchases they've made, how many sales they've made, how well established are they, and I can cancel that if I don't feel comfortable. eBay expands it out even more. eBay, you're paying an eBay fee plus you're paying your PayPal fee off of the payment. So, it's a good chunk of your money's going. So, and that's even more risky. But again, you can cancel a sale if you take a look at a buyer and they have, no reviews or not a lot of reviews, don't feel comfortable. But it is definitely precarious. So I try to sell to people I know. One time I sold on Facebook in a private group for a doll, for a silicone sculptor that people really, it was like a fan group for that one silicone sculptor. And, it worked out for me, but I would not list on Facebook these days. There's no way. There's just too much crap out there. I don't even barely look at dolls on there anymore. It's, okay, but what is the single biggest piece of advice that I could give if you need to sell your doll? Pose the doll well and creatively with, good lighting. And sometimes it depends on the doll. Sometimes I'll do natural lighting and lamp light so they can see the difference. But also show the painting. So I've had photo shoots. I've helped friends out with photo shoots too. Not that I'm a photographer, but to where I'll do poses where the doll is fully dressed and, you're posing them. Like, look at him, right? He looks like a baby. And I'll move the doll around and I'll give kind of like, some imagination to it. You want just like when you are staging a house, you want to think about what like inspires you to buy, especially when you're looking at prototype dolls or you're looking at dolls for sale from artists. Their photos are typically in various poses that look like newborn photography or whatever age the doll's supposed to be, to represent it's a replica, and it's giving you the ability to imagine that baby as a baby. Maybe the clothing wouldn't be what you'd pick, but it's giving you that sense of realism. For me anyway, right? Maybe that's not the case for everybody, but for me, it gives me the ability to picture how real that doll will look if I have it, and to have that kind of illusion of being a baby. So the posing can actually add realism to a doll versus, let me show you the opposite. He just looks real no matter what, but he just looks real no matter what, you guys. But if I just posted like 8 photos that were just like that, just something unrealistic, right? Like maybe the legs are like that. right? I just posted a whole bunch of photos like that. Or, okay, if he wasn't in this, what if I just had him on the table? Sorry, this is getting a little weird. What if I posted that picture? If I just posted a bunch of pictures like that, and what if I had, you could see my stuff in the background, and he's just like laid on the table, and maybe I have yellow light on him, changes his details, right? You get the point. You get the point. And I look back at my photos. I mean, I have crappy photos that I still post today. But when I look back at when I was first starting out, I see a lot of like pictures where it's not maybe as clean or whatever. And to me, when I took those pictures and when I posted those pictures, you guys, they looked real to me. They really, really did. So believe me, like there's zero judgment there. I still have a hard time sometimes like separating myself from what I see. So if I see a doll looks like super realistic, maybe it doesn't look that way to everybody else, but it does to me. And it's like, so you have to step outside of the moment, I think, and think about a third party coming in who, especially if you're like really bonded to a doll or whatever, who can't see what you see in front of your eyes and doesn't have kind of the imagination in place because they've seen the doll in great lighting and they've like bonded with the doll. You have to step out and see like this is the first time that you're seeing this doll. So give a variety of poses, right? I do arms up, I'll, tilt the head, have the head leaning, do some of those. And then I think it's also a really good idea to bring the doll down to a white onesie or even just on the cloth body. And do some close-ups. Do close-ups of the nails, try to get some close-ups of the details, the mottling in clear light. So you have two aspects to it, in my opinion, which everybody's got them. In my opinion, if I were selling and I didn't know a lot of people and they didn't know my dolls, I would want to give two aspects. I would want to give the imagination piece of it, where they're picturing, there's a lot of like picturing this baby as a baby. And then I would want to showcase the painting. I would want them to see what they are buying without bells, without any kind of pomp and circumstance or creativity, maybe masking that, right? No filtering. So I want them to see if there's veining, if there's mottling, if there's blemishes, if there's, if the nails are good or if the nails are crappy. I want them to see what it looks like. Because I don't want a chargeback or an unhappy buyer. Because it's so super disappointing when you're buying and what you get isn't, you do your best to show. And I've never had somebody come back to me and say, this is not what I thought I was getting. They say that it's exactly what they saw in the photos. And I've seen people, the doll I sold on Facebook, I sent her video. I showed her everything close up. She got the doll. I think it must not have been for her. She sold it on, I never heard, she just did it. But there was nothing transparency to your audience, really. But if you've posted, let's say you've posted 5 photos and it's not working, maybe you do some fresh pictures, maybe try changing the angles, maybe put the baby, in some lifelike scenes. I'm kind of like going off the rails here with this, so I hope it's interesting to somebody. Put it in a car seat, or put it, you know, make up a bed and put it on a bed and get some, you know, add some different types. Make sure when you look at your pictures, you're not just doing the same photo over, you know, pose over and over and over again, because you want to catch somebody's eye. So, you know, I don't think you need to feel really pressured to drop your prices super low or anything. If you need to sell and the market is not great, or you're just not having success, you know, that's a personal decision. But I certainly wouldn't feel like it's all about the price. A lot of times I think it's just about having enough of an audience, enough for people seeing your post, and showcasing the doll in a way that's going to pique people's interest. I wouldn't be comfortable on eBay these days unless I really screened the people and was willing to cancel transactions and relist if I didn't feel comfortable. And I probably wouldn't sell on Facebook. Now, there are some good private collector Facebook sites where I think you can feel more confident. I'm just not active there, so you definitely have to use your own judgment there. I certainly know that there are people who have great relationships and trusted communities on Facebook, so I'm certainly not in any way discounting that or disparaging that. That's just me, because I don't do a lot on there anymore. Yeah. So anyway, I love this guy. He's so handsome. We're going to go and maybe try and grab a couple photos of him. And then I will we'll definitely be back with more, guys. All right, guys, sending out lots of love. We'll be back soon. Bye for now.